I spend so much time internationally correcting their lies and explaining, they're so difficult. Because within Mongolia, most people know the truth. Some choose to work with them anyway. But outside Mongolia, they've done terrible things. They've hurt a lot of international partners. CDC and NIH are all scared of Mongolia because of them. They've told me this. They speak, they present very well, and he lies. Yeah. He lies. He's like, I call him the Donald Trump of Mongolia. Well, sometimes people who are too ambitious, psychology studies have shown, they lack feelings. Yeah, because he's so aggressive. Yes. He just spends so much time telling people lies and talking so nicely, but he's burnt many bridges. Abbott won't work with them. CDC won't work. So many people won't work with them internationally. But he's so nice, and then when he doesn't get his way, he cries and he shouts and he writes nasty emails to international people, to foreigners. Yeah, to big CEOs, the CEO of Abbott, I've heard from many companies. Yeah, many. And also, he tells everybody he's an NGO, but he's not. If he's an NGO, he's an illegal NGO, because the Liver Center makes so much money. I think some of the people who've been hurt the worst aren't very loud, because it's embarrassing. Some of the Gilead's experience. Yeah, their Liver Center was built with stolen money. I haven't spoken to him except for one shouting match in 2016. But in 4 years, that's the only time. We haven't worked with them. We terminated. We were their first partner, as we were the only NGO working, and they knew that, and they found us, and we wrote a grant together, and they were the main leader, and we were the sub-recipient, and they got all the money, and it was to do a control study for our project, and they took all of our methodology and ethical committee documents and all of our paperwork and all of our plan. We created the plan and logistics, and then disappeared and never paid us and finished the project. And then they use that. They use people and then they throw them away. They got benefit from us and threw us away. And then with that, and then they used Gilead and built their liver center and then threw Gilead away. They're just so crazy. Mine, it wasn't, because what they say, what they tell people is that they didn't pay us because we didn't do the work. Because we gave them we prepared all the paperwork, and then we were supposed to go to the countryside and collect 1,000 samples, and we didn't do that because they cut us out. And so basically that's how they say, well, we didn't pay them because they didn't do the work. We did it ourselves. But they took all of our methodology and we gave them all that because we trusted them. In the intellectual property they used, but for us it's difficult. It's not like they stole money like they did with some other people. It's my experience is difficult. What I can say is hearsay, that our international partners, I get introduced as the honest organization in Mongolia. So HOMI and Gilead and Abbott and many people, when they hear that someone's working with Onom, they say, no, don't work with them, work with fire. And they introduce fire as the honest organization. I can say that I've heard many complaints about them internationally from some of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world, also from the National Institutes of Health and the Center for Disease Control. And we've also had negative experiences with them and terminated our relationship with them in 2013. That they used funding from Gilead that was meant for screening to build their private liver clinic, which is operating as an illegal NGO. But the problem is too, they have supporters, they have doctors who work with them because they pay them. They must have family money. You know, when Onom started with MCA, Alton Tuya, from former head of NCCD, she worked for them on that project, and they never paid her they didn't pay people the last 4 or 5 months of their salary. They cheated so much money. That was the beginning. Yeah, they cheated so much money. That was the beginning of it. Onom started just to cheat MCA. I think they did training for them on non-communicable diseases. I've heard terrible things about it, and from people that work there, and from people that, in general, the training wasn't good. They didn't know what they were doing. It was very disorganized. But then from people that worked there, they cheated them. They didn't give them the last several months of salaries. Ask her, because she knows the beginning, because she worked for them under the Millennium Challenge project, and she knows what happened. She's the one who told us. She hates them. Oh, she hates them so much. What happened with Abbott is they had an agreement for reagents at a reduced price based on a certain quantity, and they couldn't reach that quantity, and so Abbott changed the agreement, and Indy went crazy and started cussing at the CEO and sending these terrible messages to the whole company and shouting at him on the phone. And finally they just had to block him. And just because of a change in the price. He's very, very aggressive. So that's why he gets the money, is because he just pushes and pushes and pushes until he gets it, and then he gets it and he goes away.